All right, let's take a look at some specific examples where we have more than one property being used at the same time. So now this is a free-for-all. So now, and I'll tell you what, let's actually do a regular log one first. Let's change forward to this one. So I have something that's in condensed form that I want to pull apart. I want to expand it. Just a kind of quick reminder is that sometimes in these problems they might see things like u greater than 0 or v greater than 0. Just keep in mind that the reason that that's there is because basically you can't plug a negative into a logarithm. So just to kind of prove my point, if I said log of -10, this is what my calculator tells me. It's a non-real solution. So that's what's happening there, and that's what they're saying to you right here. Is they're saying you can't have a negative for u and you can't have a negative for v. So we start expanding this, and so I hope that you see it. You see that there's multiplication. And we know that multiplication turns into addition. So our first step would be, this would be log base c of u squared plus log base c of v to the 5th. Okay, so that takes care of the product rule. And now we want to go to the power rule. And the power rule in this case we'll always do last. And so the power rule would mean that we would take the exponents and we move them out in front. This become 2 times log base c of u plus 5, oops, don't need a parentheses, 5 log base c of v. And that would be my final solution right there. That would be all expanded out. Okay, we got one more right here. Why don't you go ahead and give it a shot, hit pause, give it a shot. So we start off and we see the quotient rule. The quotient rule says that we'll break it apart and then separate it by subtraction. So this would be log base c of x to the 4th minus log base c of y cubed. We go ahead and put in the power rule. Get that spelled right. We go ahead and put in the power rule. In the power rule, we take that 4 and we move it out in front. We take that 3 and we move it out in front. This becomes 4 times log base c of x minus 3 times log base c of y. Okay, so that's another example with just the power rule and either the quotient or the product rule. So kind of just we have multiple things to do at one time. So moving right along, so now we go the other way. So now in this particular situation, once again, we have this standard. We don't want x to be negative. And so in this situation, we want to pull this apart. We have several things. And so we start pulling it apart and we start seeing that, hey, we have log x times. So time turns to multiplication, right? Then we do log x plus 7 minus log x plus 4 raised to the 13 power. So remember division. Division turns to subtraction. Multiplication turns to addition. Okay, we know that this 13 can come out here in front. So this becomes log x plus log x plus 7 minus 13 log x minus 4. All right, so that will be expanding, and that will be our final answer. There's nothing else I can do. I've moved my exponents. I have, changed my addition, my multiplication to addition, and my division to subtraction. So that gives me my final solution for number, I should say 16. Our final solution for this particular problem, excuse me. All right, moving right along. So continuing on right here first, now we're going the other way, and then we'll go back and we'll look at those natural log ones. So in this case here, we have an expanded version that we want to put in the condensed form. In the last situation, we did the power rule last. Now we're going to do the power rule first, meaning that we're going to take this 4, we're going to move it up. We're going to take that 6, we're going to move it up. So right this minute, we have log base 5 of u to the 4th plus log base 5 v to the 6th. So we're going back together. So now we've moved our powers, and now we see addition. Addition turns into multiplication. So we're trying to condense. So we go to 1 logarithm of u to the 4th times v to the 6th. That would be the condensed statement utilizing these properties up here. All right, the next one, we move the exponents up. Remember, those come first. So this will become log base 5 of x to the 8th minus log base 5 of y to the 4th. So remember, we're trying to condense. We've already moved those exponents. Now we're trying to get rid of that subtraction and make it into one statement. So this would be log base 5 of x to the 8th over y to the 4th. That looks like the winner. All right, it's cruising right along. We'll come back to that change of base here in just 1 second, and let's do one last thing. Let's take a look at these natural logs. So in the natural logs, what we have to remember is that there's an understood. So if I say the ln of x, I need you to understand that there's an understood e right there. Okay, so let's start breaking this down. When we're expanding, the first thing we do is get rid of a product or quotient rule. So we see that we have the quotient right here. So we're going ahead and rewrite this as the ln of x minus the ln of e to the 8x. Okay, this guy's done. Nothing you can do to him. He's done. However, this guy, we have an exponent that can be moved out in front. So this becomes the ln of x minus 8x times the ln of e. Well, if we recall, the ln of e has an understood base of e. So technically, this is the ln base e of e raised to the first power. That means that essentially what we have right now is we have the ln of x minus 8x times 1. All right, and that is your solution, which is kind of unusual, but you know, your final answer would be the ln of x minus 8x, because that ln of e essentially cancels itself out. We go to the next one. It's very similar, so hit pause and try to work yourself ahead. So we rewrite it. It would be the ln of x minus 5 minus the ln of e to the 4x. Remember the understood base e, so that the base and the argument cancel, so we get 4x. On this particular one, there's nothing that we can do to simplify that one, so we just leave it as is. That would just be the ln of x minus 5 minus 4x. All right, so that wraps up our expanding and condensing our different scenarios. Utilize these to finish up the middle part of the homework. We got one more video after this.